Hello, hello, hello. This is Tati from the Power Search Corner Block, aka Shepherdess Natasha Pyramid Powell. How is my young women and men of God doing today? I always say that God is doing some awesome things because I just trust God like that. He has never let me down, and He's never, ever shown me anything different. Even if I don't see it, my faith lets me know and remind me that God is orchestrating things behind the scenes. He is creating platforms for you and I to showcase and spotlight our gifts that He's placed on the inside of us, ministries and businesses. He's putting us into the company of the people we need to know. But today I want to talk about having to go back to the beginning, or as some people say, go back to the drawing board at a stage of development. And sometimes we don't always have to go back to the beginning, but we have to go back quite a bit because we've missed some things for whatever reason. And somebody inboxed me and said to me, the reason I procrastinate because it's just that means I have to go back to the beginning, and I don't want to go back to the beginning. And I said, I thought about it really a lot, and I said, oh yeah, here are reasons that we procrastinate and we don't want to go back to the beginning, because we find that we have to find a new path, a new teacher. That means we have to change the way we think, change our attitude. We have to find teacher, meaning because technology has changed. That means we have to research even the more. We have to read more. We have to read up on what we do. We have to do our due diligence. That's why it's important to write the vision and make it plain, because when we go back, we might not have to go back as far as we think we are, but that due diligence makes a difference because we have to go back and rework some things. So going back to the beginning serves a purpose. When sometimes now we have to face, who can we trust, because we trusted in certain things, in certain aspects, and it didn't work out. So now we have to go back around and build up a new trust and a new relationships with different things and attitudes. We have to build those things up again and trust, because what we trusted in failed. So that means we don't even trust ourselves, because some of us was trying to work it in our own power, so that's why we can't trust ourselves that it didn't work. But at any rate, it's who do we trust? That's a hard thing to have to go back to, because everything else failed at that particular point or juncture. Then it's to be confronted with the prospect, how about of never being able to realize our purpose? And I say that because a lot of times we have so many ministries and 5011 ministries going on, and none of them are complete. That's why some of us have to go back to the beginning, because none of what we got going on is complete. Ask God to bring you in and show you your strongest gift, and the others will fall up under it and work in concert with your strongest gift. I had to do that because I'm a multi-gifted person. So I had to ask God, show me my strongest gift. And as He began to show me my strongest gift, those other gifts were able to work with the strong gift in concert. So that I began to understand my purpose, because as long as I had all these ministries trying to do them all, float them around, and almost have 5011 businesses and ministries, nothing was getting done. So yeah, that means sometimes we have to go back to the beginning. Then it was the possibility, when you think about all the time that was wasted, and you were deceiving yourself and falsely, it was just a mess. But what I will say to you is, for me having to go back to the beginning, like I said, because I had to rework some things too, because I had all these gifts. And then when I began to ask God to show me my strongest gift, I began to synchronize my relationship with God. That was the first thing. And then when I began to go back to it, it's like I said, going back to the drawing board means going back to the praying board, which means that gave me the perfect time in the moment to synchronize my relationship with God. Going back to God, I was going back to the heart of God. I wanted the heart of God in what He had called me into. I wanted to work His heart, not my heart. And then, like I said, synchronizing my relationship. And as I began to do that, I took the limits off of God. And when I went back and took the limits off of God, wow, oh wow, it brought me into something new. I even entered into a new season because I went back to the beginning. See? But I wrote the vision to make it plain. I did my homework. And when I went back to the beginning, so many technologies have changed. So it was worth it for me to go back to the beginning, or back to the drawing board, if you will. And not only that, when I went back to the beginning, it took me out of my comfort zone, because I erased all the stuff that I had on my board and in my thought, because it was cluttered with so much stuff. I was able to see it in its entirety, and I was able to have clarity. Right at that time, I had all these gifts going on and all these ministries going on, and it was so cluttered, nothing was completed, and it almost was in another language, because nothing was connecting with the other. So in that, I began to think out the box, because I erased it, and I'm like, okay, I want the mind of Christ. I want what's in your heart, God. I don't want nothing but what's in your heart. And that's what began to happen. I had to get up off that procrastination, because that procrastination just wasn't working for me. I wasn't getting nothing done. And here's another thing. It's like I say, a theft of time. But I had all these different ministries going on, and nothing was completed. But when, like I said, if you ever take time and ask God, show me my strongest gift, and you begin to really work in it and write it and get it together, all the other gifts will fall in concert with the strong gift, and it will work, and you will be dynamite. So it's okay to go back to the beginning. It's okay to go back to the drawing board. Some people, if you will, your place of disobedience where you got off a path, it's okay. Because synchronize yourself and synchronize your relationship with God is the beginning. Going back to that prayer board, going back to what is the heart of God makes all the difference in the world. This is Tatsi, aka Shepherdess Natasha Pyramid Powell, coming to you saying it's okay to go back to the drawing board, because you will do something new. You will think out the box, and you will be out of your comfort zone. And get ready for God to do an awesome thing, because He's going to show you your strongest gift, so all your other gifts will work in concert with your strongest gift. I know God is going to do it for you, just as He's done it for me. Talk to you soon.